Hello, I'm Debbie from Australia and I'm here today with a very late February 2025 cross stitch update. One day I am going to loop all my false starts and run them really fast because I think they'll be hysterical. It's always just so hard to start this very first bit and I don't know why, but I am going to start today with a very big thank you to everyone who left such kind notes and sent virtual hugs about dear old Darcy, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. February was not a bad month stitch wise. I got a lot of stitches done. I worked on something like 14 projects. I won't be showing them all today because some of them because it is now the 28th of March. So I've had to do some of the stitching. And I'm getting a bit worried because the stitching time is the one that's getting missed out. I'm going to have to do some stitching over the weekend to try and get some stitches in for that. I'm not meeting my monthly count yet, but we'll see how we go. Welcome to everyone returning viewers, anyone new. I do hope you find a fabric, there's bound to be lots of those. Find a project that you're interested in following to completion. Towards the end, I'm doing a roundup of the first Stitching on the Borders retreat, and it will be like a catalogue that you can go shopping because they all have online shops. Anyway, while I was at the Stitching on the Border retreat, I got notified by a friend who went to the local show. This year we were only allowed to put in 2 submissions, and she sent me, and I'm afraid this year it was simply because I left it so late getting ready for the retreat and so forth that I had frames, and whichever 2 fitted in the frames, they were the 2 going. I'll show you this one first. I'll have to flick the photos, one sec. Going the wrong way. The first one that fitted the frame was Crinkles from Little House Needleworks. I did this one on a 40 count fabric. Framed it in a simple black frame. Sorry for the glare. Not too bad. I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't think the job, and look, not a bad frame job. This one came home with a second price. So I was somewhat annoyed, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Because that one took over a year. The other one that fitted in the frame was Monkswood by Nora Corbett in her beautiful purples and blues. And she came home with, there's her, she came home with her first. Which is all very nice, and yes, she is beautiful, but she's on a 32 count. This one has hardly any beads, but she is beautiful. But she only took 3 or 4 stitching sessions. Crinkles took over 12 months. It was on 40 count, very fine stitches, metallics. And of course I was at the retreat. So my darling mother went and picked them up for me. While I'm telling you the story, I can show you the photos. So my darling mum went up and I gave her all the paperwork to go and pick them up, and she didn't realise that the first and second, I was first and second against myself. And the lady, when she picked them up, said, "Oh, your stitches are so little, they're so tiny, they're lovely, you know, you've done really well." And she turned around and said, "Well, I don't know why this one got second." because it's got very little stitches in it, and I'm not the stitcher, I'm just the mother picking them up. To which she was told the bottom edge near the step on the frame, on the framing, was 2 millimeters out, and if it was not, it would have got equal first with that one. I also have a photo that was put up on Facebook by the show people. Now, if I was a person, I'm pointing with the arrow, and you know what? You can't see it. But at the very top of that photo, you can see the purple Grand Champion and the champion rosette. They didn't take a photo of it. All you can see is the ribbons and the bottom of the frame. I wasn't there. I was very interested to see what it was, because it's always like one year. I think they did it. It was on, really fine fabric, like chiffon. It was just beautiful, and it was this beautiful parrot, and I kept wanting to see, but I went through all their photos, and that is the only photo they put up of any of the cross stitch or needlework section, which I find was quite amazing. But when this lovely lady, and I feel so sorry for her, said the bottom of the framing was 2 mils out, my darling mum turned around and said, "Well, I thought you were judging the stitching, not the framing," and walked off. Mind you, my mum is like 5'1", so she's not intimidating at all, but when she's annoyed, you know it. But I got my things back. I'm very happy with the first and the second. I mainly only put them in to show different styles, because the one thing I do notice, even on that little picture, they're all different sort of stitching, and it's, might encourage someone else to take it up. Okay, on with the show. My finish for this month, for February, I should say, because March is going to be the first month in probably a very long time I won't have a finish. And my finish with this month, for February, is in time for Easter, called More Chocolate Bunnies from Hands On Design. I've had this for so long, and I did it with the sulky SULKY threads, but I did it on a hot pink fabric called Fairy Floss from Whoopsie Daisy at Daisy Chain Stitchery. It is not showing up as pink as it is. It's so annoying when it doesn't do that. But the photo will show you. It is a beautiful hot pink. More chocolate bunnies. It comes with the little buttons. In case I give the pattern away, you don't want to see that scrappy piece of paper. That's on my notes. The fabric is from, like I said, Whoopsie Daisy. I started this in January, I believe, and I finished it on the 7th of February. Before and after. She says turning around, and it didn't work. It's not going to work. And I don't know how to make it work manually. Oh. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Might have to do this again tomorrow. That is before and after. I had the top section done, and it really stitched up very quickly, and only had the orange carrots down the bottom to go, which I did, and so on the white buttons. I think I said I did find some other white buttons to put in the pack in case I get rid of give away the pattern later on, but they're not quite as big as those, but they may still work. Now the pattern against the original, that's mine, against it on the brown. I think either of the colours work well, but that is closer to the colour of the fabric. Okay, I think I'm back. I've got no idea. Anyway, that was my only finish for February. I did have a start in February. When I went to the last one I went to, last retreat I went to before this one was Vivsters. I don't believe that's being held anymore. They haven't got a coordinator, but nearly everyone from that went to stitching on the border. And I started that and finished that not long after at Vivsters. And I decided on the same fabric on the top half, and the fabric was given to me by the lovely Margaret, who was at stitching on the border with her friend Robin, to do, this is Dreaming Girl, Barbara Anna, Miss Claus. But it was going to be me young, red hair, me old, grey hair. But I didn't quite work it out, and the young one is on the bottom, and I didn't get as much done for this one, and I'll show you in a second. I started this one, and I haven't got a lot done because I just could not count for some reason. So this is going to be before dye, after dye. No, before dye with the grey hair, after dye with the red hair. That's what I'm going to do now. But at our table at the retreat, if I can find him, we've got lots of nice things, but I'll show you. The gentleman's name was Jonathan, and I was complaining that I just couldn't count up to 9, and I kept getting it wrong and wrong and wrong. And he came around and he gave us all the count from Sesame Street. And it was so funny because I put that straight onto the Lowry stand I had there. And I was going quite well. And I think it was 2 days later, we're all laughing our heads off because I started having trouble again. They said, "Where's the count?" And the minute I got him out, I was fine. So he was very good luck. Before and after, or no, this is against the original because there's no before, of course. So I've got the darker grey in the hair, and I only have to come back and do the white. I started working on the white, and it's going to be like the other one. It's not terribly big, so 2 of those are fitting on a fat quarter, I think, and they're going to look really nice together. Okay, this machine's going to work, which is good. Okay, whips. As per usual, stitching time, Max Colours, Aimee Stewart, 1/1 on 32 count. I've got a bigger picture of it, which is upside down. But I could only get the Heaven and Earth one, but it's just probably a little bit shiny, but that is the bigger picture of the whole thing. It is not on a board because I had it out, but that is where I got to this month. I had it out to go to stitching on the border. I can open it up quick. So as you all know, with the regulars, top one done. I was hoping to get half a shelf done in 6 months, but I am way behind on my numbers, way behind. But we'll see if we can do something better about that a bit later. We have got before and after, and compared to what that's going to look like. So it's just a sea of green, just a sea of green. And as I've said before, I'm starting up in this, I keep pointing with the mouse. I'm starting in the top left corner, getting the narrow stitches, getting the next stitch, carrying through one thread, if it's one of these massive number of greens, I'm trying to cut a length of 6 strands and try and do the 6 strands. So we'll see if we can get some more done. I've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so we'll get some of that done. It won't be the 6,000 stitches though. The next one I worked on was from Mojo Stitches in the library. Again, I've had this for a while, and I believe it was Lady Marmalade Stitches that encouraged me to get it out and get it started. And I have the frame work is all done, finished off the little moss in the centre, and the sort of colour completing in that bottom section. So you've got the telescope coming up, the globes coming up, there's some books. Very nice. This is being done on 40 count Blundstone from number 12 Stitch Co. Using the recommended Cottage Garden threads, and I started it on the 29th of October 24. Before and after. So you can just see that I've finished the last little bits through the border, put in the 2 shells to make sure I had them in the right place, and started on that bottom shelf. And oh, it did it automatically. And against the picture. So there's still a fair bit of stitching in there, but the fabric looks very similar to what's there. But it's I think that's the original's more a bone, mine's more a grey, but they're both suited to this. Looks really nice. Next I got out Bella Filapina, Magwayen. Absolutely love her. The colours are just me. But I have got a problem with this one. There she is. Where she is up to. Bottom half except for beads all done. I'm working up on a head. Now I think you can just see it there. There is over here the silver halo. It's actually showing up better on the screen than what it does in real life. But I think I'm going to have to, see back here is what it looks in the real life. I think I'm going to have to, there's a silver with a black in it, just so it shows up a bit better, because it's getting lost in, because this is actual sparkle fabric. It's not going to be, you can see some up in the top corner here, a bit of sparkle, but it's all of it sparkles. This is an ice dye from Cascades. And I started this on the 23rd of January 2023. She's taken a while. The skin took a long while. It's done 1/1. I think most of the colour in the headdress is done. There's a lot of metallics, and when we come to the beads, holy moly, there's bugle beads and sea beads, and she's also got a frame to go all around yet, but she's very pretty, and she's got a very pretty little face. I've got a lot of fabric, a lot of projects that are so close, so I might get a fair few finishes this year, hopefully. This is my lovely lady up against the finished project. Up against the finished project. For some reason, I didn't do it before and after. It was very late when I was doing the photos, I must admit. The next one I've got, I did a fair bit of work on this. This is Peonies and Red Apples from Luca. Saw a picture, fell in love, had to track it down. Now this one, I actually emailed Luca and asked for a PDF copy of the pattern, which she sent me quite merrily. All I had to do was prove that I actually had the kit. So I just sent a photocopy of where I was up to on the fabric, the hard copy paperwork and all the threads on their stands. And I got a fair bit done on this, including a lot of the shadows under the apples and peonies. This is on 40 count white linen. I'm really, really happy with how it's coming out. Probably not as dark as the picture, but it's still very pretty. And I think before and after is going to be, if I get onto that one, you can see I got a fair bit done. Once I was able to get onto Pattern Keeper, and I wasn't trying to just follow where the stitches were, it made it stitching so easily. Underneath all the leaves you can see the shadowing's all been done. The big apple and the two little buds have done, and on the next one it shows you there is still a huge peony and then another one in front of it to go. But basically everything up to the back of that last front peony is all done. So I've only got to do the big peony and the one in the front, and it will be done as well. Not as vibrant as the actual picture, but it's still very pretty. Next is a give up. I've been working on Long Dog, the Fisher King. I really mainly like the hearth section. I really think that is just so clever. It says cross stitches never die, they turn into samplers. Now, as regulars know, I started this on what I thought was 32 count raspberry. That is not the colour, but really you'll see the colour when it comes to, you can sort of see that maroony colour in the centre there when it bends. There's over 7,000 stitches in that bottom part. A lot of back stitches. It was just cumbersome, I wasn't happy, so now, I can't. You can see how wide it is there. Oh, is that all of it? There, where my fingertips are, is the ends of the two stitching. I decided to try 1/1, and that is half the page. So it is a hell of a lot smaller. But the problem now is, and I'll bring it up close so I can show you, is I even have done some back stitching. You can see the back stitching here in the lady's headdress, but it looks lovely and all that, but the back stitching kept falling behind the threads because I'm using black silk, so it's very thin. Don't ask me why I decided to put the white edge in there. That was just a spur of the moment thing. I'm not giving up on the actual pattern. I'm just giving up on this project until I can work out. I did actually get some fabric the other day to have a look at and see if I can if it will work better on that. And if I'm not happy with that, I might just do that small piece and call it quits. So it was a bit disappointing because all up with the 7,000 down the bottom and over 2,000 up the top, I've lost 9,000 stitches, but you've got to be happy with your finished project. So this is the bottom section and the top half section of the whole thing. I do love the pattern, so I'm hoping this new piece of fabric it's going to fit. It's 40 count, so I'm hoping that's how it will fit in the 40 count and everyone will be happy. And the last one I've got you for this month is Winter Quaker from Rosewood Manor. I am doing this with the cord for Valdani threads. it's where you get a little ball of thread, and there's 3 skeins, and you're supposed to use the 3 threads straight from the skein or the ball. I'm doing it on 40 count, so I am actually undoing the unthreading the threads themselves. Why aren't you straight? I think it's the camera that's crooked, not me. And using one strand of that big diamond, it's going to be a beauty. So this is being done 40 count dwarf from Picture This Plus. It's taken me a long time. I've been doing this since it's one of my really old ones, the 6th of July 22. But when you undo and you're using one strand of the Valdani, you've got to keep them very short because they just won't hold up. Okay, before and after. So I got a fair few of the little motifs done and started that big diamond. And I'm going to try and get it out more regularly to get it done. And that is against the finished project. So I've still got a fair bit to go. And those little tiny snowflakes everywhere. I mean, they're very pretty. And thankfully, I'm using silk. Otherwise, it'd be quite difficult. Now, I'm going to do a quick run through the retreat. First of all, because the photos are here, I'll show you the brag table now. These are very quick photos. Because it was a last minute, oh my God, I haven't taken a photo of the table. I forgot to take anything. Anne, who I went with, did, and I'll show you if I know who's done them. I don't know who have done them. That one I loved. I thought that was so clever. There were some really, really cute ones. I know the finishing of those was done by Taryn from Teaser Handmaids. Isn't that gorgeous? That's beautiful. That may even be Taryn's. That I thought was marvellous. I really, really like that one. The tiger. Little Christmas hangers, and I think I've got another one. Those 3 chickens, they're Anne's, and they're so cute. That is Christie's from Once Upon a Needle Threader, and on Miss Christmas, she's a Mirabilia. She's actually used a like a chenille thread on that white going through her dress, and the 3D's just lovely. It really is. And the majority of these, let's face it, of course, all look nicer in real life. Specimen jars. That's another one of Christie's. She's into ice hockey, and she got the players of her team, obviously called the Mustangs, to sign the border of the frame, which is very cute. The fox is gorgeous. Up close, you don't get too close if you've got young kids. Look at those chickens. They're Anne's, and at the marketplace they're bought out. I think they're parrots, and they're just beautiful. Okay, things we were given. I'll turn the photos off for a second. I'll show you first. Now, it was quite a good setup, and there will be a quick photo of the room. There were 11 people at our table, and I'm going to mention them. Now, Therese and Jonathan were sitting together. Jonathan was the one that gave us the count, and Therese tried her hand, she said, at making scissor fobs. Well, she did a lovely job, and we got to pick, and of course I had to go for the bee because it's just beautiful when I go for the bees. So they were sitting at the end of the tables, and I thought that was really kind of them to have those. Bonnie from Queensland. She was really lucky because she got stuck to me, so she had got a lot of talking to the poor lady, but we got along all right. Belinda from Geelong, she was working on a really nice Filapina. Denise from Shepparton, she was doing an abstract stitching of Paris, which was really quite lovely. Tiffany and Diane from Melbourne, Jackie from Victoria, and Yao had she was working on a Relolis, that's all right, cat. And I tell you, when you looked at the picture, and I even said to her, you look at the picture and you think, but when you looked at her stitching, it's just amazing how many times the stitching works out to be so much nicer than the photo. And when Yao's hubby turned up to take her home late on the Sunday afternoon, he bought chocolates and handed it out to her. So he was very welcoming and it was very kind of him. Met a lot of old friends, Margaret and Robin, Christy from Once Upon a Needle Time. We first met at Mittagong back in 2019. Donna from Canberra Stitches, who's since moved down with the family to Victoria. Liz Rush, again, Liz is from Sydney. I met her at originally at the Mittagong Stitches. Now Liz made everybody there one of these, personalised. They are counting pins. You've got the 2 pins there so you can count when you have to go long distances and keep them there. There's a tiny little, and there's a photo later, a tiny little zipper pull and a needle minder. One for every person, and there was over 100 people there. So very, very generous. Very, very generous. Karen and a lovely daughter, Teaser, from Teaser Handmaids. They were there. Rebecca from Culcaine, we met at the virtual, I think it must have been 2020, the virtual retreat we had for the Mittagong group. Deb Sharp was there, very lucky Deb Sharp. Deb Sharp won a whole set of DMCs. When they said Deb, I was just... And then they said Sharp. So I had this... So, yeah, very lucky girl. And, of course, the Silks For You team and Ginger Stitch AU boys, it was lovely to see them again. And I met some lovely new people. Mandy from, and I hope I get this right, and tutored me on this. I'm going to get it wrong. Namurka? She came over and introduced herself very early, saying she washed my floss tubes. Hello, Mandy. Mandy has got a very similar sense of humour to myself, and I think we'd get on really quite well. Aimee C from Geelong. Now, Aimee was telling us about her long drive to get here, bypassing some very busy roads. She came over and introduced herself, and towards the end, when there was a lot of people gone, I got more mobile because we were in a very big room, but it wasn't easy. When you see the pictures, it wasn't easy to go along the tables. Like the tables were long. We could have had 12 people at our table easily, but the people sitting back to back, it was very hard. You know, you had to get up and move to let people in and out. That would be one of the things that I thought could have been done a bit better. Maybe put the vendors out in the stage area where the bags tables were, but a little bit more room in between the tables, because they had this really good idea to meet people. They gave them a list of designers, and you had to go around and get people to sign what they were working on, and you know, the first people that got to 20 or 30, whatever it was, designers, they won prizes, and they were very good prizes. So that was very enjoyable, but it was hard to get around. But once people left, I could get up and not feel quite as you know, it's not claustrophobic. It's you know, I'm not good at getting out there. And I met someone else who's not good at getting out there. And Jenny, I won't say where Jenny's from because she's very close to me. And when she said when she was from, I said, I know that place, and told her where I was, and it was quite amazing. I don't know, half an hour, maybe 3/4 at the very most away. And like she said, I would have come up earlier, but I find it hard to get out there. And I said, well, I'm the same, and that's why room's more than half empty. I can get a bit more out there. I do hope people didn't think I was standoffish. It's just that it's just the way I am, and I can't help it. I had an absolutely great time, and I'll show you some of the things. We had too many magnets. We had a bag on our table, so if the bag was standing up, you knew the seat was empty. So when you come in, you knew where to go. Look at this. Had the froggy stitches. Hope this sweets will help. And look at the red frogs. And I haven't eaten them. I've waited for the video. The boys at Ginger Stitch AU did a lovely. Come on. Again, there will be pictures. The stitching on the border. Needle minder. It's very pretty. Christy did everyone these beautiful little zipper pulls. It's like a little teardrop with mine's got red sparkles in it. It's really lovely. Silks for You are always very generous at these retreats and gave us this beautiful thread, which I later found out is the same colour as one of the ones I bought, so that will be a great thing. And then someone has obviously made these tissue covers. Now, we did get one from Big Stitches, and I still have it in my handbag, but my mum will love this one because it's poppies, especially this time of year. And it did come with little tissues, but I couldn't get them in there when I had it on the board. So I'm actually going to give that one to my mum because I know, like, mine's still in my handbag. It's very easy to keep it in. So that was a nice little surprise. As well as that, we got... Yeah, stitching on the border. I don't think you're going to be able to read it. Stitching on the border cross stitch retreat 2025. All different colours. I was very happy with my teal one. Yep, even got directions on the inside. Again, didn't use it. Mine is actually teal, not the blue that's showing, but it's still, even if it was the blue, it'd be lovely. So that was very nice. Now here's like your catalogue. But lots of magnets. Come on, get off. Get off. Huss, Zane. Teddy wasn't there this year. Teddy's their little corgi. He usually comes to these. They have beautiful needle minders. The bee one I love because the needle actually goes in behind the bee. So it's very secure. That's a little whiteboard. I've got to see if I'm allowed to use that instead of a post-it note to write, you know, the code word on for my monthly stitches. I love the thread holder. I got a black and white cats, and these ones they have these. It's like a, you know, the old chewing gum. Or the big gumballs machines. You put the coin in, you get the little circles out. And I had goes, and I've got a rose, little skeleton, and a little kangaroo. So I was very happy with those. Christy, really, she had a lot of things this year. A lot of things I liked. And wait until you see the geckos. Look at the geckos. What? Not that close. Oh, no, you can't see their eyes. Come on. I fell in love with those little geckos. I thought they were the sweetest things out. I love the sword. I got some thread drops. This one's a panda. Whoops. This one, that's gone over thing. That's the Tree of Life. And 2 more bee related ones. Surprise, surprise. You can never have too many. And again, they'll look better in the pictures, but I do love those geckos. Silks for you. So I've got the same one as we got in our bag. And then I got the 3 colours that made up that one. And then they actually had some nice fabric. And this one is just got all like different shades of different colours through the beige, and it's lovely. And look at that, it's a mobile phone holder that you just sort of, you know, if you're just wandering off with your phone, don't need anything else. You could probably fit your phone and a couple of tissues in there and off you go. And a little black cat, and I just thought it was so cute. The fabric is a 36 count fabric, and I thought it was really, really nice. Then I went to Taryn. I had to get another one of these because I've filled up one of them. So this is, she makes these. Now, Taryn, I know, what was that? Oh, look, I even had something in there to show you. What was it? Oh no, it was just a piece of fabric. I was showing someone how it worked. You just put you can, there's a little lip there, you can put your projects in and then just roll it so it doesn't get, they don't get all crunched up when you're waiting to get them framed. She's got the ribbons on them so you can just tie them nicely. I got one last year, I got a purple one last year, and most of my Mirabilia ladies are in this, so I had to get another one. She also had a really big bag, and I've got quite a lot of Q-snaps that are on the long way, that it was, you don't see them that long, so I had to get one. Again, I was lucky it was my colours, but then this year she had a lot of different, I think I showed you a box a few weeks ago, but check this out. It is a case. She's got bee stuff both sides. She's lined it. It's got the pocket lined down the bottom. And it came with a bag. Again, with a bee zipper pull. And I'm hoping, because it zips up, and it's got the hard covers on it, and the handle, I'm hoping, like when I go to Canberra stitching, that I can get my stitching, the table stand and everything in that, and I only have to walk in with that in my handbag. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out. I also got another, not blue, it is royal purple grime guard. Again, royal purple. Still very pretty looking as a blue, but it was royal purple. It is royal purple. And then she had these. This is very pretty. Inside, it's got places you can put your needles. Like you can put pins in there. She's got magnets in there. You can put your threads on there. And she's got the section where you can, with the plastic on it, to put your projects in there. I thought that would be really great. And then depending on how wide it is, she's used the elastic with holes in it, and you can just button it up and go. And I thought especially it'd be good for like the mill hills and that. You got the containers to put everything on. You could just tip a few of the beads out onto the felt, knowing they wouldn't roll anywhere. And if you were sitting at a table or at work at lunchtime and that, I thought would be brilliant. So that was, also from Taryn, she had a couple of pieces of 40 count Verdal. Look at that. It's a green. This one is a very pale blue. Again with a little bit of modelling on it. I'll have to do some measurements. It depends on the size, whether it will fit the new Lola Crow sow coming out on the 1st of April. So that was my stitching, that was my shopping. I'll flick through the photos. Come on. From Liz, the stitch counters and thread pulls. Silks for you. Thought that those threads would be good if I did some more beautiful stitching projects. That's the Taran stuff. You can see how purple it is. See, there's the purple pencil case. Well, it's not a pencil case. The grime guard and the fabrics. That's Anne and myself. That's some of us that went and had lunch. Christy, Bonnie, Jackie, Anne and myself. I didn't realise I still had my sunnies on, but we were sitting outside. It was nice. That was the room. Quite a big room. Excellent lighting. Let me flick these, because where's the rest of them? I thought I had... Nope. I thought I had more pictures, so I haven't. Okay, so February. 25,817 stitches. It says 12, but I added 2 lines, so there's 14 different projects. So there's quite a few that I will show in hopefully next week when I do my March update, because and then it will be, you know, I'll know which ones have been for the 2 months. Monthly stitches by the projects. I love how this software does it. The name of the lady in the Etsy shop will be below in the notes. So it's going to show you what I've worked on with March already. But you can see I worked on a fair few in February, which is funny because it was a short month. But I did do, for example, Gone to Pieces. I got over 4,000 stitches done on that. So that wasn't too bad. So I've done a lot of stitches on a lot of projects, and you'll see them soon. Okay, so I haven't got my last slide there. Let me see if I can go back to the camera. There we go. Other than that, I've got a feeling I've forgotten something, but I had a great time at the retreat. I did get into Daisy Chain retreat, going with Anne, Kelly and Amanda. We'll all meet up there. We're all looking forward to that. It's somewhere I have never been before, so it should be very enjoyable. I'm going to leave you. I know it was a very short one, not a lot of stitching, but I hope all those things you saw that I showed you, they are all online. Ginger Stitch AU, I will list them below. Teas are handmaids, silks for you, and Once Upon a Needle Minder, all lovely stuff there, and they have plenty of stock on all sorts of things, so please go and check them out. Thank you very much again for all the kind words about Darcy. I will see you shortly, because I've only got to wait till Monday and March will be over, and I've really got to try for the first weekend. If I can try for the first weekend of the month to do the video for the previous month, if I can get into that routine, I'll be able to get the stitches done in a stitch in time. I hope you are well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.